Hello, everyone. It's 4 o'clock Eastern time, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So welcome and thanks for joining us today. My name is Raven Lee, and I am an enrollment specialist at the Data Incubator. We are a fellowship, scholarship, and placement company. We have promised you all an excellent info session that will be led by one of our instructors, Nicholas De La Fuente. To start things off, I would like to give you a quick overview of our programs and everything that we offer. Then I'll hand off to Nick, who will lead us through a detailed overview of our new data engineering program. Please place all of your questions in the Q&A section, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. As a reminder, our session is an hour long, so if we don't get to all of your questions today, please email us at admissions@thedataincubator, and we will be happy to help you. So what does the Data Incubator offer? The Data Incubator focuses on training people to become data scientists, analysts, and engineers. Why is that important? It is really because data professionals have the ability to work with the latest tools on unstructured and structured data to drive business value. This is a big need in the world right now. We work with companies in a ton of different industries, ranging from tech to finance to retail to healthcare and many more. Every company has data and wants to use that data to drive value for them. So what makes the Data Incubator different? There are a lot of other data-focused programs out there, so I'm sure you're wondering what we do at the Data Incubator that's a bit different. What we found is when you look at training, there are two different types. The first type is fast-paced and efficient, and the second being slower and focuses on understanding and completion rates. University is one example where you'll receive a more detailed understanding, but with a lot more time invested. On-the-job training is usually very quick and efficient, but maybe you're not understanding what you're doing. We've taken all of these aspects and combined them together to find a great middle ground for our training. Our program is fast-paced. You walk out of the program knowing a lot about data science and data analytics and real-world business applications, and with a deeper understanding as you get from university. All of our instructors are PhD and master holders and have completed this program and know how to provide that in-depth training that you are looking for. So just about our program offerings, we are so excited to announce that for our winter 2022 cohort, we'll be offering 4 data-focused programs. We'll be offering our successful full-time data science fellowship and a more flexible version of that, our part-time data science fellowship program. We are also offering our part-time data analyst program and our new full-time data engineering program. So just the program overviews, we're going to spend most of our time today discussing our new data engineering program, but want to take some time to review the similarities and offerings for all 4 of our programs. All of our programs are intense. They are built around hands-on data-focused curriculums. We offer both full-time and part-time programs, and both are packed with a lot of information and tools. They're thorough. Each week focus on a different data tool or approach. In addition to our lectures, we have our students participate in hands-on practice as well. We really believe in fostering an interactive learning environment, and so in each program, students will work on many projects that focus on the data tools you are studying. Additionally, all of our programs are very collaborative. We want students not only to work with their colleagues and instructors, but to also have the opportunity to network and connect with our hiring partners. All of our programs are career focused as well. We have career coaches that help you succeed in your data-focused careers. You will not only learn how to present your best self by attending our career workshops, but you will also have the opportunity to work with the #1 resume writing company to get you a polished resume and cover letter. Lastly, all of our programs are interactive. Every student in all of our programs are provided a Jupyter server for the duration of the course, so students can follow along in lecture and see and edit raw code that's being run. Students will receive immediate feedback via our interactive grader. If you're interested in learning more about our data science or our data analytics program, please email admissions@thedataincubator.com to be connected with an enrollment counselor. So that's just a little bit about our program. I will now pass it off to Nick to lead you through our data engineering presentation, and I will come back on at the end to help answer any questions that you have.
Hello, everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. There we go. Hi, so I am Nicholas De La Fuente, and I'm in charge of leading the data engineering program at Data Incubator. And we're opening up the application process soon. I believe it's already open. And in January, we're going to go ahead and start the program first time around. But before we get into sort of the semantics of the Data Incubator data engineering program, how about we discuss why you should even be interested in learning about data engineering, or why you should be open to the idea of having a career in it. Can everybody see my screen first off? Is everything good? Yep. All right. Awesome. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and get into it. So what is the job outlook for data engineering? Well, on the right here, we see we can have a collection of the fastest growing tech occupations from 2019 to 2020. And data engineering is actually at the top, backend developer being second, and data scientist or senior data scientist being third. Now, this is really interesting because a lot of the times data science is typically the one that is the most talked about in terms of job growth and what is going to be expected in the future in terms of job growth. But interestingly enough, data engineering has, for the last few years, been at the top of the fastest growing tech occupations. And surprisingly enough, this is due to the fact that data science is oftentimes confused as data engineering. And a lot of companies actually, as the differences are still trying to be worked out in the modern age between the differences between data science and data engineering, most companies are typically actually looking for a data engineer rather than a data scientist. And data scientists are still a necessary part of the team, but data engineers are very important when it comes to creating the infrastructure in order for data scientists and sometimes even back-end or front-end developers to implement some of their applications or models or whatever it might be. So in terms of overall data engineering skills that you might, or data engineering outlooks, there's a competitive salary, there's a lower applicant competition, and there's higher demand. And we'll go ahead and cover some of that stuff in the future slides, but just in general, those are four very, high value points to sort of, push you in the direction of possibly applying for the data engineering program. Again, from here, you can see that the job outlook is pretty great, and as well as a lot of tech occupations. I think that just tends to be the sector. But if we move on to the next slide, we can go ahead and take a look at the salary statistics and the applicant competition, two also very important metrics for what the job field is sort of looking like right now. And as you can see in the salary statistics, the average salary of a data engineer, at least from Glassdoor and a collection of other companies that I ended up looking at, the average salary ended up being around 137K, or the median salary being around 102K. The range anywhere from 100 to 155K. Again, those are getting rid of some of the more, the farther outliers. So, like 300 or 400K, or 20 or 30K is not going to be included in the overall range, considering the standard deviation. But in terms of salary statistics, the average salary is relatively higher than data science, and data science as well as data analytics tend to be around the 60 to 120K range. And again, this is dependent upon whether we're looking at data analytics, which is, I think the average is around 65, and data science, which is the average is around 85 to 90. But the really cool thing is this is actually expected to grow, as well as the job outlook. As companies start to realize, and as data engineering starts to really put its foot down in the tech space, the salary is expected to grow, as well as the job outlook, because people need data engineers if they typically need data scientists. But the really cool thing is entry-level data engineer positions can typically comfortably make anywhere above 85K annually, which is, a pretty good salary in reference to the other tech occupations. And recent trends also suggest that this is expected to increase over the coming year, which is really exciting. 2021 should be a good year for data engineering, as well as data science and backend development. But data engineer, for both job outlook, salary statistics, and as we'll soon see, applicant competition is going to be at the top. So for every open data engineering position, there are 2.53 applicants. And if we go ahead and take a look at data science, web developers, and marketing managers, for very involved and sought after jobs, we can see that data engineering is at the top, at least in terms of its ratio. So for instance, data science has 4.76 applicants for each open data engineering or for each open data science position, which means that for each application that you apply to as a data scientist, there's likely, if rounding up, 5 more people applying to that job, which means you are competing with more people opposed to data engineering, where you're competing with roughly 3, if we again round up. And web developer and marketing managers are pretty high up there as well, ranging from 11 to 54 if you're in marketing management, which is a pretty competitive field. But see, as you can see, data engineering competition is relatively low, which is a great thing because it means you don't have to be competing with people when you're trying to find a job, which is fantastic. So if we go ahead and move on to the next slide, we're going to go ahead and talk about the types of data engineering jobs, or what you can expect to do in a data engineering jobs, and its contrast to both data analytics and data science. So data engineers typically work in a variety of settings to build systems that collect, manage, convert raw data into usable information for data scientists and business analysts. I know I just read that, but let's go ahead and dissect what that means. So essentially, what data engineers do is they find data that is important, they aggregate it or acquire data sets or collect it in some type of manner to either serve it up to data analysts or data scientists, or even sometimes developers or software developers, or front-end developers or software developers, or back-end developers. Data engineers are primarily focused on the movement and direction of data and the forms that it takes. And as other data occupations, they sort of, other data occupations, they utilize the systems that the data engineer has put into place in order for data scientists and business analysts to properly do their job. Data engineers can also sometimes intersect with data science as well as business analytics, implementing possible data science models or low-level algorithms to sort of process data. They build, train, and test data architectures such as, large cloud-based systems or pipelines that might need to be durable and production ready for companies or even smaller scale businesses. They also create validation methods, integrate data analytics tools, and perform data governance and data policy, which essentially means, what is this data doing? Why is it there? Where should it go? And how can we clean it up and make our system more robust and create an infrastructure that houses our data that is far more accessible to both data scientists, business analysts, and anybody that might want to interact with it, including clients/customers. So that's essentially the types of data engineering jobs and what you might be looking for, or what you might be seeing out in the real world. So if we go ahead and continue, we can sort of start to understand the difference between data engineering and data science. Now, these two are often, especially in the last couple of years, often confused. So what does it mean to be a data scientist, and what does it mean to be a data engineer? So if we see this little Venn diagram we have, we can see some intersection. Data scientists and data engineers typically both know SQL. They both know data wrangling, as in moving data around. They both understand some fundamental programming skills, usually Python, and they understand how to interact with the local environment and some version control systems such as Bash and Git. And they obviously both deal with data, which I think we could both infer. We could infer that. But the things where data science and data engineering start to sort of start to separate is when data science is primarily more math oriented, in the sense that they deal with more statistics, with more mathematics, statistics and mathematics, and as well as like different data analytic skills, communication skills, and neural networks. These are all things that data engineers don't typically see unless they are tasked with the ability to implement it. So again, data science is typically more mathematics based, and data engineering is typically more computer science and software engineering based, in the sense that as a data engineer, you will benefit more from the understanding of how computer systems work, how the cloud operates, as well as just fundamental data architecture, which is something a data scientist doesn't necessarily have to be super concerned with. But in summary, a data engineer is going to handle and collect data, construct data systems, manage cloud systems, all either for data scientists or for business. And data engineers just primarily deal with the collection and movement of data, while data scientists perform deep data analysis, gather insights, implement advanced ML or NN models, and perform statistical analysis, trying to gain insight from the data. Data engineers collect the data and deal with the data in terms of its movement. Data scientists deal with the analyzing of that data. And data analysts perform analytics on this data as well, just to a lesser degree that data scientists do. Not a lesser degree, but a more, they don't deal nearly as much with neural networks and some more advanced ML models, at least in terms of coming up some of the mathematics for the ML models. Yeah. All right, so moving on to the next slide, let's go ahead and talk about the main differences. I already sort of did, but if you guys would like a summary, you can go ahead and take a look at this. Again, data science just use the state-of-the-art techniques to develop insights into data. Data engineers develop, consume, test, and maintain complete data architecture, while data analysts provide actionable insights into data for their business team. And this is where data analysts starts to diverge from data science in the sense that they are more business intelligent and typically tend to implement a lot more of that business intelligence into the market or into their respective field. So let's go ahead and talk about the data engineering curriculum at TDI and what exactly we're going to be diving into. So we're going to be covering databases, relational and non-relational databases. So for instance, PostgreSQL, which is a relational database. We're going to cover stuff like MongoDB, a non-relational database. We'll cover stuff like Redshift, DynamoDB, both cloud-based databases and data lakes. And we'll also go ahead and get into Bash, which is how we can sort of make shell scripts and interact with different servers. We're going to cover Amazon Web Services, which is a hot buzzword that I'm sure you guys have seen before. It's primarily going to deal with cloud architecture, how we move around data, and how we deal with all of this stuff. Airflow, which is a workflow tool, which is very powerful in creating our sort of automated pipeline systems. SQL, of course, which is a language that allows us to interact with these relational databases. NumPy, package of Python. I'm not going to go through all of these, but in general, what TDI is going to teach you is not just the skills that you need, or not just the tools that you need in order to succeed in the job, but the skills around the tools. So for instance, instead of just teaching you about PostgreSQL, we'll teach you about the importance of relational databases, how they differ from non-relational databases, and the importance of when to choose which. We'll also cover some basic machine learning skills, which is going to intersect with the data science curriculum, which is also pretty cool because they do overlap a decent amount, which is nice. We're also going to be covering version control systems and just how to be a good developer in total, whether it's a good developer for data engineering or any other field that requires some type of version controlling or some type of bash script or some just like basic coding sort of practices that are important in most tech fields. But yeah, cool. So Sagnika asked what kind of background one needs to have to be accepted to the program, and I think this is a really good question. Now, as I said before, data science and data engineering sort of differ in the sense that data science is more concerned with mathematics, while data engineering is more concerned with sort of computer science and cloud-based architecture and understanding systems. Now, as somebody who has a good background, in terms of somebody who would have a good background when applying to the program, I would suggest somebody that has a willingness to learn, has a good understanding of either mathematics, statistics, or has a good understanding of computer science. I think Molly's going to go ahead and answer the rest of that question, but I think that's a good one to bring up to the rest of the group. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. TDI provides unparalleled training you won't find anywhere else. And that is true for this data engineering program. So what we're going to be talking about is what the data engineering program is going to give you at TDI. It's going to give you on-the-job training, and the data incubator is also going to provide online courses and give you a sort of overall understanding of how to interact with the data engineering field and how to sort of be ready for a job in the data engineering field. And on the right, you can see we have an understanding of the different sort of different types of teaching that data incubator is going to employ. And as you can see, we have, if you want to learn data engineering, you can do online courses, which have a pretty low pace and efficiency and also a low understanding and completion rate. You don't have a one-on-one teacher coaching you through all these different things on an online course. And in the university, it's also a bit slower. It takes 4 years to get a degree. The data incubator is far quicker in teaching you the necessary skills. And I want to stress the fact that they're necessary, the necessary skills for data engineering, data science, or data analytics. So online courses in university move a bit slow, and the completion rates are obviously a bit more difficult on online courses because it's harder to follow along. Now, in terms of pace and efficiency and understanding completion rates, we also have on-the-job training, which is sort of getting you in there and sort of having you understand what's going on. Now, the issue with that is it may be a bit quicker in terms of getting you to the level of efficiency, but it is also a bit more expensive. And sometimes you don't have the rounded out foundational knowledge that you need in order to exceed or succeed in various data engineering fields or whatever the field might be. But the data incubator is nice because it's efficient. You get a deep understanding of not just fundamental topics, but advanced topics. And it has a lot of practical application and is extremely immersive in the sense that you will be doing this very, very immersively for a solid period of time. Now I can go ahead and hand it off, and thank you guys for listening to the power of data engineering and why it's so important.
All right, thank you, Nick. That was a lot of great information. I hope you all enjoyed that. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen and take back over the presentation. Okay, so fellows versus scholars. So many of you have asked if we offer scholarships to any of our programs, and the answer is yes, we do. We admit two types of students into our data science and data engineering programs. Fellows are offered tuition-free scholarships to our full-time program. We offer a limited number of these scholarships to highly qualified candidates. Fellows are expected to leave any current employment to attend our programs and are expected to interview exclusively with our hiring partners. Scholars will pay tuition to participate in our program. They are not required to interview solely with our hiring partner network and may maintain their current employment. Scholars still have access to the same curriculum, resource, and tools as our fellow students. Full tuition scholarships are not offered for the part-time program. We hosted a great session last week that offered tips for earning the fellow spot. So if you missed it, let us know via email and we'll send you a recording. So again, our email address is admissions@thedataincubator.com. Go ahead and send us an email if you would like that recording. We also offer a data analytics scholarship. It's a data analytics diversity scholarship program, which aims to help remove barriers and provide opportunities for women, veterans, LGBTQ, and students from racial and ethnic backgrounds that are traditionally underrepresented in technical roles. So just about some of our employment rates, a big component of our program that we really pride ourselves in is helping our students not only grasp data science concepts, but also getting placed in that field. Our analyst and engineering programs are brand new, so we don't have any data there yet. But for our data science fellowship program, 97% of our students that go through our program are currently employed outside of academia, and 82% are employed within 6 months of completing the program. Those are really great numbers. We're very proud of those and have worked very hard for them. That's part of the challenge, not only learning content, but being able to transition into a data science role. That's really where our program stands out because we help you do both. So where are our graduates working and what are they doing now? Again, data is not available for our analyst or engineering program just yet, but for our data science fellowship, this would give you an idea. Our graduates are working in 55 different industries. Some of the most common industries we see are computer software, internet, IT, financial services, and biotech. Some of the typical job titles we see are data scientist, data analyst, research scientist, software developer, and product manager. These titles and roles vary depending on the company and industry, but these are some of the roles that we've placed in the past. So here's just a short list of some of our data science fellowship hiring partners. Many of these companies are also hiring for data analyst roles as well. But we are also focused on building a separate network of hiring partners dedicated solely to our data analyst program. So this is just a short list of some of our hiring partners. If you would like a more detailed list of a sample employer list, then again, you'll just send us an email to admissions@the-data-incubator, and we'll make sure to get that out to you. Financial assistance. So many of you were asking about our financial options, and we offer assistance, and the answer is also yes, we do. In addition to our scholarship, we have partnered with Leaf to provide an income sharing agreement. It's great. You can participate in our program with just a deposit down, and you won't be required to make any payments until you've graduated and are working and earning more than $40,000 annually. We also provide loans through Ascent, and Ascent have three different options. The first option is a deferred repayment option. So with this, you will make no payments during the program and for 3 months after the program. The second option is an interest-only repayment option. So you will make small interest-only payments during the program and for 3 months after, then you'll start making your full payments. Their last option is an immediate repayment option. So you'll begin making full payments 1 month after the program begins, and then you have different terms available, whether it's going to be 36-month term or a 60-month term. Lastly, for many of our part-time programs, many companies are willing to sponsor or pay for their employees to go through our program. It's a win-win. You get to learn great stuff in the evening and be able to apply to your job during the day. If this is something that you think your company would be interested in, or you would like to present to them, we do have a letter that we can provide you that will help you lay out the program and all of the benefits to attending. So these are just some dates to keep in mind. And just where we are right now. So we do run multiple cohorts a year, and our fall cohort starts class on Monday. But our application for our winter 2022 cohort is open now. Our winter cohorts will run from January 10th to March 4th for our full-time program. And for our part-time program, it'll run from January 10th to May 27th. So as I mentioned earlier, the full-time cohorts are 8 weeks long, and the part-time cohorts are 20 weeks long. And just some specifics about the application. We ask that you submit your application by October 8th for early admissions. You'll have 72 hours to complete the coding challenge from the time you open it. And the challenge deadline is October 11th for early admissions. You cannot complete the challenge unless you submit the application. Just in general, I do recommend you complete the application and challenge sooner than later to avoid any technical issues. We are unable to reopen the application or challenge after the deadline. And that's it for our early admissions. We also do regular admissions. So after our early admission cycle ends, you'll still have the opportunity to apply, but you'll be in regular admissions. So just the difference between early admissions and regular admissions, we really evaluate applicants on a first come, first served basis. So if you want to have a better chance of getting a fellow spot, which is one of our scholarship spots, or knowing earlier if you have been accepted into the program to secure financing, I absolutely recommend applying for the early admissions application. So just to reiterate, that application do close on October 8th. We also offer a priority enrollment package for our data science and data engineering program that includes access to a Python training course, early access to career services and one-on-one with the data science resume writer, as well as $2,000 off your tuition for direct payment. For our data analytics application, it's broken down into 2 separate parts before we make a decision. And that's just the application plus the optional diversity scholarship application and the interview. So the application deadline, if you're interested in data analytics, is October 29th. And the decision will be made on whether you're accepted into the program or not on November 19th. If you're interested in applying to our program, which I hope you are, you can go to the Data Incubator/apply to submit your application. If you have any questions about your specific situation, this presentation, or going through our application process, please reach out to us at admissions@the-data incubator, and we'd be happy to answer your questions. So that's going to end the presentation. I do want to open the floor for any questions. Well, the chat box is open if you do have any questions, and we'll proceed with just answering those questions. Also keep in mind, not the chat, the Q&A section, I'm sorry, but also keep in mind if you just forget to ask the question that you have to ask today, or like I said, if it's more of a specific situation to you, then feel free to email us at admissions@thedataincubator.com. You are not limited to only this info session to ask the questions that you have. So if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A box. I see that we've already answered a couple of the questions, and I'll just give you all just a few minutes to ask the rest. Ask any questions that you have further.
Hey, Raven, I just wanted to give you a heads up. It might have got lost in the chat, but someone asked how much time should be dedicated to the program. If you wanted to briefly overview that, and just to let you know, you are sharing your screen.
Let me stop sharing. Okay, so those were good. So I'll go ahead and start. So for our full-time program, we ask that you be prepared to dedicate at least 40 hours a week to the program. So you're not in live session, of course, for 8 hours a day, but you'll have your live sessions in the beginning of the day. And like I said, we do offer career services, so you'll have just a lot to do with that. So if you want to participate full-time, we ask that you dedicate 40 hours a week to the program. If you're interested in our part-time program, then we ask that you dedicate about 10 to 15 hours a week to the program. I see some more questions in here. So those who receive fellowships need to pay when they get hired. So if you receive a fellowship spot, that is a scholarship spot. So the only thing that you're required to pay is the deposit. So no, after you receive a job with one of our partners, you're not required to pay us anything. But I do want you all to keep in mind that if you are selected for one of our fellow spots, then the commitment that we ask you make is that you if you're currently working right now, that you stop working at any current job and just dedicate most of your time to interviewing solely with our hiring partners. That is the commitment that we ask you make. If you're accepted as a scholar student, then you don't have to interview solely with our hiring partners. So how long do you have to work on the challenge? I see that Molly answered that, but I'll go ahead and answer that out loud as well for anyone else that had that question. You have 72 hours to work on that coding challenge. So I do advise you start it sooner than later. Like I said, if you have any technical issues, or if you just have any questions, you'll want to go ahead and start that before the deadline. I do believe that sitting, it probably takes about 10 to 15 hours to complete the challenge if you're just doing it straight through, but you do have 72 hours to work on and complete that challenge. Is there any discounts for early admission? So yes, if you are paying directly, meaning you're not using one of our finance options, then we will give you a $1,000 discount. So altogether, you'll have a $2,000 discount for early admissions if you're paying directly. So $1,000 for early admissions and $1,000 for paying directly. So does the application have any status requirements for international? So there are no requirements to apply to the program, but we are going to ask you about your status. So just be prepared to answer that question. And do keep in mind that although you don't have to have any a particular status to participate in our program, if you are interested in interviewing with our hiring partners, most of our hiring partners are located within the United States. So just keep that in mind as well. And I don't see any more questions here. Yes, I do. Oh, whoever said great presentation, thanks. So I'll give you all a few more minutes to go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A if you have any. We do have some time. I don't want to waste you all's time, so I'm not going to keep you out here if you don't have any other questions, but I do want to give those the opportunity to ask the questions that they have.
We did have one more in the chat that might have got missed. Someone asked whether the program is online or in person. So if you had any additional information, I know it's a little bit interesting with the COVID guidelines going on right now.
Right. So, of course, due to COVID, we were all online, but for our winter 2022 cohort, we will have one in-person session, and it's going to be in San Francisco. So if you are interested and participated in our program in person, then you will have that option to participate in San Francisco. But we also offer the program online, and we're going to continue to offer it online. All right, so that looks like that's all of the questions that we have. I do want to reiterate that you all can email us with any questions. Like I said, if you need any of the recordings that we had previously, if you need any more details about anything that we covered today, or if you have any situation that's particular to you, then feel free to email us at admissions@the-data-incubator. I think I seen another question pop up. 1 second. So I think that question was asking about, I didn't see the question.
The capstone project, both Nick and Molly answered it. In summary, yes, it's very similar to the data science program. They will require a capstone project.
Okay, so that question was answered. All right, so that looks like that's it. You all have a great day. I'm looking forward to seeing you all submit applications, and I'm looking forward to also answering your questions throughout this process. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.